On JP.
What's good, brother? How we
Um,
doing?
I'm doing well. I figured a Yanks jersey would be in, so I had to rep the Sox.
I knew I've been seeing these Sox jerseys, man. Not liking them. Not liking them at all. Not liking
Honestly,
them at all.
I try to I try to get something that will represent who I'm talking to. Like for Copo, like I didn't really have much, but I had like that G baby jersey, so
Oh, dude,
uh
I have the same exact jersey.
yeah, so it kind of
Same
looked
exact jersey.
like a Monadnock jersey or whatever. So I was like, I'll chuck that on, and but
Yeah, it was good.
yeah, but definitely
Oh, hi, Lindsay. Nice to see you.
you won't see me in orange and black anytime soon. So I'm a
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. But hey, you know who would have won the World Series this year? And that would be the New York Yankees. So I mean,
I do.
just unfortunate it can't happen.
Yeah, it is unfortunate the Dodgers can't win finally, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
but thanks for coming on. I always see you in the comments and support, and so I appreciate that. Spoke to you earlier saying that it being my 21st episode, that's what I kind of had planned for you and to represent Steve and you, and uh, so I appreciate it, man.
Hey, it's good to
But
be here, and dude, time coming since I've talked. I mean, it's been, I don't even
yeah,
know, oh, probably, I can't even remember how long it's been, dude.
that's a
So,
good. Yeah, it's since you were 12 at least with the Huskies.
yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, yeah, 9 years.
yeah, at least.
Crazy, crazy.
But
Time flies.
oh yeah. All right, guys. Well, my name's Tyler Milbert. I'm here with JP Record, and this is Inside the Mind of an Athlete. All right, JP. So, uh, something I want to talk about first and foremost is your brother Steve, because obviously when you're 12 years old, I really don't want to talk to you about that. And
Yeah.
you're growing up now, and I just want to kind of fill you in on my past with Steve.
Oh,
Um,
dude, absolutely.
we got me and Steve grew up battling each other on the little league field, and it was always whenever we played Jaffrey, when it was like the Monadnock All Star team and all that stuff. It was always like Steve and me, like Steve versus me, and I remember Steve had like the filthiest curveball, and like at that age, he was the only one throwing a curveball that I ever saw. And it was just fun, man. Like if I hit a home run off him, the next at bat he was hitting a home run off me. But then at the same time, when it came to the All-Star games, like him and I were on the same team, and we got to play together and enjoy that time together. And then as we grew up, Babe Ruth came, and like your dad was one of the coaches, and it was just always fun having that battle against each other, and then joining that team together. So. Steve has always been in my heart since I can remember. And like I said, I always wear him on my wrist. And if this thing ever breaks, I'm calling one of you guys up. So,
Absolutely, dude. That's getting sent right away. So,
yeah, for sure. I also want to point out something that I've never told anyone. I might have told a few people, but this thing right here, Post 23 Baseball, it was my Legion club.
oh, yeah.
And when it was the summer before he passed, I went to Kimball's, and he's like, "Hey, what's that team?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Legion over in Milford." And he's like, "No way." He's like, "Dude, next year you let me know." He's like, "I'm coming to play with you guys." And the following 2 years, I didn't play for Legion because it wasn't right for me.
Yeah. No,
Like I said, having played those all-star teams together,
yep.
having that, so it was tough for me to have those next 2 years. The third year I ended up playing, and I'm very glad I did. But yeah, it was those 2 years. It was tough, man. But and then another thing, dude, is just I know you know how loved he was. Obviously, when he passed, it was the Christmas tournament,
Yep.
and the day after he passed, I didn't really play much as my junior year, but my the center got hurt, Sam Post, the day after he passed. So I went in for the second half of the game, and I put up
Yep.
20. I put up 23 points in one half, and
Hey, okay.
it's
All
just
right, okay.
it's just wild. And and we took home the championship for the Christmas tournament. So
That's awesome.
it's just little things like that I remember forever, man. That has always touched my heart, and I'll always carry them with me. And like I said, like just having to know you and knowing that you grew up, and now, like I said, you're of a good age that I can speak to you about it. I wanted to get that off my chest and let you know that your brother was a big part of my life, even though we grew up in different towns. He was a big part of my life for sports. So,
No, dude, that's so appreciated. You don't even know. It
yeah,
goes miles
yeah,
and miles, you know. I mean, we might be
for sure.
crosstown rivals by book, but there's no way in person. There's no rivalry there. You know what I
Right,
mean?
for sure. And just another thing, like I texted you and your dad 2 years ago, and just being able to kind of bring up Steve's story to these kids that I coach now, and kind of just give them a perspective of life, and just let them know, like, you never know what tomorrow's gonna bring. But I made sure right after I told that speech, I texted you and your dad and just let you guys know that we're carrying on his legacy as much as we can, dude. So,
Hey, dude, you know, that's totally awesome to hear. I know
yeah,
Ron feels the same way. I mean, it's been absolutely tremendous what you said to us, you know, and we greatly appreciate it. There's no doubt
yeah,
about that.
for sure. All right, man. Well, mushy stuff's out of the way. Let's get to you as a human, as an athlete, as a young man. We'll bring you back to as we started, 12 years old, when you're on the New Hampshire Huskies. Just kind of playing on an all-star team at that high of a level at such a young age. How did that help develop your game as a baseball player?
You know, I think, I mean, let's just like start back right as like I'm starting All Stars, you know, 9, 10 years old. We're like, who was our main competition? It was Border Town, you know,
Right,
every single time. And like, the 9-year-old district tournament, I mean, we're battling with, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Nationals of the world are great teams, but, you know, Border Town just always was right there.
right,
And I mean, most easily memory was our 10-year-old district championship, you know. It's Jaffrey versus Northwich, and Kyle's on the mound, and you know, we're up 7-1. I think it was the fourth or fifth inning,
yeah,
and Kevin Rhines pulls out the old fake bunt on Kyle, you know, and you know, kind of he struggled, and we just multiple errors happen, you know. Northwich goes on to win the district championship, you know.
yeah,
Tough one to swallow, but you know, you learn from those experiences, of course. But
right,
you know, go to 11U. I mean, we did the great idea of joining forces of doing the first bench warmers team
right,
with there wasn't even that's like the OG team right there. We talk about Huskies, you know, they got
yeah,
the Justin Somros of the world, you know. It's really hard for me to remember every one of that team. But you know, I know Justin played with us with Huskies, but he was a big part of that benchwarmers team that we won that Westfield tournament. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like we both got smoked by Westfield in that Greenville tournament, whatever, and then we combined forces and just absolutely destroy them.
yeah,
And that tournament was awesome. So I mean, just the overall start of the Huskies was, you know, one of a kind.
right,
Absolutely.
for
And I
sure.
mean, you just couldn't have put a better group of kids together, I don't think, with the talent level and, you know, just the coaching alone, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, was just so beneficial. I mean, even though my dad was the coach, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I learned so much from Kevin and you guys, you know what I mean? It's like it really, I think, kick-started my career as a baseball player. I
right.
mean, I played a lot up until then, but you know, dude, tell me, uh, dude, not a lot of 11-year-old and 12-year-olds get that chance to go play in Florida
Right.
like we did. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like absolutely phenomenal what we did. And we're a
Yeah.
little team from New Hampshire, you know, we're
Right.
playing on that backyard field at Christian Outreach. It's like unbelievable where we came from. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just like crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Going to Disney Wild World of Sports down in Florida was definitely one to remember, because you got teams from all over the country, and you got kids your age that look like they're 18 years old. You know what I mean? And so we're, like you said, a small team from New Hampshire, and we're just going against these huge kids, 6'2", 6'3". They're on the mound. You guys are like
Yeah.
5'5", and just,
Yeah. Well, I
but you,
mean, Kyle was a monster back then. He was our
oh
biggest
yeah,
guy. I
yep,
mean, it's tough because now I'm obviously taller than Kyle now,
yeah,
but
right,
Kyle was a monster back then. I mean, he was
yeah,
our biggest guy, but he was even bigger than the biggest guy on the other teams. You know, he was the
right,
average guy on the other
yep,
team.
yeah. But dude, we held our own
Oh, absolutely.
as a young team, and didn't really get feared by any of the competition we had, and that team alone was just so elite. And like you said, just bringing the towns together and the group of kids that we had, it was definitely one to look back and reminisce on for sure.
And don't get me wrong, it absolutely started with the coaching. I mean, like you don't get there off of just playing. You know what I mean? It's like
Right,
we obviously had needed some guidance, and we had the right guidance. You know what I mean?
right, yeah, yeah. I mean, it all. Kevin was my coach in high school, and as the Messinic baseball program goes alone, it's definitely it's a long list of great athletes that have played at that field for Messinic. And you go back to Bobby Caswell as the coach, and then it goes over to Kevin Rhines. It's like you can't, those two coaches right there, you don't get much better than that in the sport of baseball. Um, your dad, I remember him as a coach my whole life. So you get those two guys as um, the leaders of the team, and then Kevin brought me in just to basically be that young guy to kind of be that middleman to if they're kind of too hard on you, I'll take over and go from there and just let him know what he wants from you, but just in a different way to say it to kind of get you guys on the same page. So it, like you said, it starts from the coaches, but the kids at the same time, you guys were phenomenal athletes, and you took constructive criticism very well, rather than a lot of kids may quit if they have tough coaching, but you guys wanted that tough coaching, and it showed throughout you guys' high school career as well.
Yeah.
Um,
No. Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
which
So
brings me
I gotta
to,
ask you a
oh,
question
go ahead.
now. I gotta ask you a question. Uh, what do you think is what was your favorite tournament? I guess I would say. I don't know if
with
you remember a lot.
with the Huskies.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't top Florida just because it was a nice vacation,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Absolutely. No. 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 No doubt.
but I think the Delaware one was
Yeah,
also
I was
very
gonna
fun.
say the same thing. That first year we went to Delaware, that was awesome. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, I had a blast.
yeah, because that was like the first real tournament I think we had, at least that we had to travel for.
Yep.
And it wasn't like right next to, like, it wasn't in Mass or anything. It was down in Delaware, so everyone's excited. Now, even the parents are excited, and they're which obviously hats off to the parents for being able to do that for you kids. But yeah, I think Delaware is at the top of the list for sure. But um, so I want to go to your high school years, um, and I want to know. Well, we'll start that after actually. When you're in high school, just playing baseball, we'll say, and you have these kids that you played with on the Huskies, the Tyler Copos, the Damon Gibsons, the Radiolas, like all these kids, the Drew Ryans. You played them on different teams now in high school. And I know when I talked to Copo, he was like, yeah, it was great kind of growing up with them, and now you're playing against them, and you kind of just your competition, where back in the day growing up, you know who's on the other team, but you don't always get that chance to play with them. So I think you guys, especially being the elite athletes as you were at such a young age, you got to compete at a high level in high school against each other. So when I was talking to Copo, he mentioned like one of his favorite memories in high school was hitting that
Yeah.
walk off you his junior year.
Yeah.
Um, but what?
I have a backstory to
How
that.
did it feel? All right, we'll get to that. But how did it feel? I guess when you played Messinic, when you played Monadnock, and you may be one of the only kids on Conant. I'm sure there were a couple, but
Oh
like
yeah.
Kyle and but you get to say like, yeah, I played with these kids at a young age. I know what this kid does. I know what that kid does. Like, it's going to be fun. And what was your kind of mindset going into those games?
Like it just like one of those things. Like it's really hard to put into words, but like you said, you know who's on the other team. You know who you're going up against. Like when you're going against the Monadnocks of the world, like you're getting Tyler, you're getting JT Cloutier, you're getting all those guys. You know what I mean? Uh, I guess but it didn't just like start in high school. You know what I mean? Like been playing these guys since I was 9 years old, and you know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
basketball, baseball, like you name it. Like literally, I probably definitely can't count on a hand how many times I played against those guys. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
uh, you could almost have your own like record books just for playing each other, just because it's been so many times. But when it came to high school stuff like that, it definitely brought more of an intensity, no doubt.
Yeah.
I like with Damon and those guys, Damon and Brett, those guys, like, I mean, they brought it. I mean, like, I think what was great about when I played in high school was Messinic was like tough to play, no doubt
Right.
about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Vananock was tough to play, especially in baseball. Um, I think, uh, like Tyler said, that home run he had. I was a sophomore at the time,
Yeah.
and so I had an arm injury like my 8th grade year, so I didn't pitch at all my freshman year, nor did I pitch at all my sophomore year. And Heafy kind of worked me into pitching, whatnot, but I only did my stats my sophomore year of pitching was I recorded 2/3 of an inning
Right.
and had a 68 ERA. 68. But at the same time, next year, I became our ace and I had a .62 ERA with
Okay.
no losses. So, I mean,
Yeah.
totally flipped the script. Totally
Right.
flipped the script.
For
But
sure.
like I said, that was a tough year for me for pitching wise. You know what I mean? I was just getting back to like health, full health with my arm, and he. But I mean, Tyler's a great hitter. I mean, guy's playing
Right.
D1 ball right now. I mean, he's hitting
Yeah.
bombs. You know what I mean? And he hit a bomb off me, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That was funny when you said that because it just makes it that much more special doing it off, like if he did it off you or if you did it off him or if Gibson did it off one of you guys. Like it makes it that much more sweeter having grown up with them and
No
being able
doubt.
to play against them. So like I had I mean, obviously you guys were our rivals. And we might have played Monadnock a few times, but not much. But Campbell was a big rivals of ours
Oh,
as well
absolutely.
for
No doubt.
baseball. And it's funny because when I was playing, a kid named John Coughlin was like their ace. He was their number 4 hitter. He'd just clean house. He'd rake any pitcher and he would strike anyone out. And he kid was a stud. And a few years once I graduated, I started helping Kevin coach. And I Baker. I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Baker, and he played. He was a senior at Campbell as well. So come summer ball, that was my first year back with Legion ball. I played Coughlin and Baker. They were both on the
Right.
same Legion team. I took Coughlin yard, and then I got a triple off Baker. So it was like
Hey, all right.
I text Kevin right away, like, "Hey, remember these two?" He's like, "Yep." I was like, "Yeah." It was like that was my story, looking at guys that I played against, and then when I got older and yeah, I got to play them again in a different league. It's definitely fun to do it off people you know, for sure.
Yeah, hey, I sorry to go off topic, but at the same time, me and Kyle were talking back and forth the other day, and I think I saw you post about it, but that what's his name? Jared Schuster. I mean,
Yeah,
just kids like that.
right.
Like you play against those kids and you see them, they're like just getting drafted, you know, it's
Yeah,
like I know it's like a cliche and you're like, "Oh, I played against that." But it's like at the same time, it's like you did play them once upon a time
right.
and you played them tough.
Yep,
And it's just cool that we experienced that too. So, I mean,
right, right. Yeah, and adding to that, my senior year, we played a kid named Jordan Cody,
oh
uh,
yeah,
and
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, and he was a sophomore at the time, and he hosed us, and Kevin ripped us a new one in the outfield after the game, and he's just like, "That kid's only a sophomore, this, that, and the other." And 2 years later, he gets drafted by the Yankees.
He went to
it's a,
Winnisquam, right?
yeah, Winnisquam. Yep.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah. So as a sophomore, he hosed us. Kevin got mad, but then as a senior, me and Kevin were going to his games, watching him pitch and stuff. It was fun. So
Yeah,
um, it's definitely things like that where you get to play a talent like that, and you get to play a Schuster, even though the kid was 12 years old. You like when our team is that good, even at 12 years old, if someone's hosing us, they're special as well, and
yeah, right. You tip your
you kind
cap,
of
and
want
you're
to.
like, you played a better ball player. You know what I mean? You played a better ball
Right.
player.
Yeah, for sure. Um, all right, so let's say before we continue, what's your favorite memory in high school going against those guys from the Huskies?
Is this like all sports, or is this just
No,
baseball?
let's just go baseball.
Okay. Um, huh. That's a good one. I like. There's no doubt. My junior year, our team was special. We had a great team. CJ was behind the plate. Kyle playing center. Me playing short as our ace. We had another great ace in Corbin, um, Sasner. But at the same time, I really had fun playing my senior year just because I kind of took on like a full-on leadership role rather
Yeah,
than just kind of being like playing my role as a pitcher and as a shortstop, whatever. But favorite memory. It's tough because there's a lot of tough memories I'm thinking of right now that are just resurfacing. But
yeah,
I gotta say, uh, there was one time we were playing. I think we're playing Hopkinton, and it was my sophomore year. We were like rebuilding year for sure. Um, we're playing Hopkinton, and I don't think we were gonna make the playoffs. I think we were gonna make the playoffs, but it was gonna be very low seed. We ended up playing Jake Nelson, who's senior, just was a catcher, and he was a pitcher throwing 95 plus,
yeah,
and he's on the mound against us, and he's just pumping straight gas down the plate from the start of the game. And I think I got up there and somehow, stroke of the Irish or luck of the Irish, got a single, you know, pulled one, thank God.
yeah,
Yeah. And uh, our teammate Ryan Otto at the time just went off. He went like 4 for 4, like two doubles and a triple, and I think a single. And he just went off. But we were such underdogs in that game, and like we were literally just playing on pride in that
right,
game. And they were 1, 2 seed probably going in the game, and we ended up beating them. And it was a crazy game, and
yeah,
it was crazy to beat them on their home field. And I know this is probably like out there, but it definitely comes right to the forefront of my mind. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, anytime you beat Hopkinton on their home field is special because it's just something about them that irks people.
but I've been in a lot of great moments. Like junior year. I mean, our senior year. We made the Final Four. We're in the Final Four game playing against the pitcher of the year, which is debatable, by the way.
Yeah,
And uh, we were right on them. We just couldn't score enough runs. That if anything, if we had won that game, that easily would have been the
yeah,
best memory.
yeah, for sure. All right, so speaking of playing on pride, that's kind of what Conant has going for them. Conant's very well known for their basketball program, always has been, always will be. Um, and if people don't understand that, just walk in the gym and check out the banners. Um, what I want to ask you is, with Steve being a three-sport athlete, um, you these kids going into Conant, they know what to expect when they want to play basketball. They know the hard work, they know the effort they're going to have to do, and the time they're going to have to give up with friends and family just to be able to maintain everything Coach Sauce wants or whoever's coaching. Um, they know what they need to expect. So you have kind of a different backstory because your brother being such the stud that he was and leaving such an impact on the community. Um, you're kind of entering Conant with a different mindset. Kind of wanted to fill Steve's shoes in a way, or at least make him proud and let everyone know, like, hey, I'm Steve's little brother, and I'm going to make sure that I kind of give you the best 4 years of my life here at Conant. So rather than these kids just going in and having their own mindset, what is JP's mindset when he enters Conant as a freshman?
You know, from the start, I wanted to play varsity basketball for Conant. Like, there's no doubt about it. Even like I went to so many Conant games as a kid, and I'd always love to do the half court shot.
Yeah.
Like, funny story is side story. I once had like 52 tickets from people for the half court shot, and I don't know how old I was, but I ended up snatching up like $300 from winning 3 shots or something like that.
Yeah.
Craziness. But like ever since then, I just like, I've wanted to play varsity basketball, and I think up until my freshman year, I really, really tried to be like a double shooter. You know what I mean? And like, I worked my ass off, end up not double shooting. Got called up for the playoffs. We won the championship, but we yeah, I know. I think it was actually a blessing in disguise, though, almost not making varsity freshman year. You know what I mean? Because I ended up
Yeah.
playing more minutes on JV, got way better time, and just overall developed better as a player as a freshman on JV, and it ultimately helped me. So
Right.
yeah,
Um, just touching to that, it's great to hear you say that, because a lot of people, if they don't make varsity, they'll get down on themselves. Some may quit. So for you to say you only made JV, but you understood where you were, and you continued working hard at it and made sure that you got to the level that you needed to as a player to make varsity. That's something special right there, and shows the kind of mindset you had and the strive you had to become great. And I know, I don't know what year it was, but I know at some point in your high school career, you were able to wear Steve's shoes for one of your games, if not all of them. But um, I remember one of your posts, and I was like that's something special right there, you know?
yeah. No, we still got those shoes, and those shoes they're probably going up in a glass case
Yeah,
by now.
yeah,
So
yeah, as they should. And yeah, it's crazy. And you speaking on the
funny
half court.
story is though, those shoes are actually bigger than my feet. So when I played in them, it was a struggle, and they're old shoes. Those are brand new in 2007. They're like almost, I think they're like Kobe ones, Kobe twos, or whatever.
Yeah,
And when I wore them that first time in the Keene State tournament, I think my sophomore, I think it was junior year maybe, and because we had played right on the date, and uh, it was fun to play with, and I think I played with them on senior night too.
yeah,
Just one last time, I thought it was pretty cool. So I
right,
mean, yeah, no, those are if I was gonna play in those no matter what.
right, yeah. Regardless. Um, so yeah, so saying you had big shoes to fill actually held up, because
Yeah,
they
literally.
were big.
Yeah.
um, all right. So me as a athlete, ex-athlete, clearly, I strived at baseball, but I played volleyball in high school, and I played half a year my junior year, and I played my senior year of basketball. So you being a three-sport athlete in high school, or let me get back to that. So my favorite sport to actually play was volleyball, where I loved baseball, I love it to death, but to play was volleyball. What out of the three sports you played in high school was your favorite between soccer, basketball, and baseball?
You know, I'm my friends will agree with me, but I don't think a lot of people will agree with me. But surprisingly, it's actually like soccer
Yeah,
because I mean, as much like basketball winning and baseball winning was like top of the charts. Don't get me wrong, but soccer a release from those almost, and like our team like camaraderie was just
right,
way better during the soccer season. We were just kind of like getting our mind prepped for the upcoming seasons. Kind of, I mean, we weren't the greatest soccer team, ever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
my record is under 500 for soccer, and
Yeah.
no doubt about that. But I think just soccer, there's so many great memories, but there's so many great memories with basketball and baseball. I think if I had to look back on it though, I miss baseball way more.
Right. Right.
Um, just because I know we could have done more, and it's just whatever. Yeah, I mean, you just tip your cap and you hang them up at that
Yeah.
time.
Right.
But you know, it is what it is at this time, and but I think that's soccer's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, like where you may excel in other sports, it's always funny hearing people's favorites because it's sometimes it's not the sport you expect, you know. Um, but fast forward to today, you're now a junior. You're at Xavier College. Um,
No, senior now.
oh, right. Okay. So yeah. So you're going into your senior
Yeah, I
year.
know.
What made you choose Xavier?
Uh, I was kind of always wanted to get out of New England, kind of. I was looking at like Salve and um, and Bryant at the time
Yeah.
as well. I think those were my top three was Xavier, Bryant, and Salve. And Salve I definitely could have played baseball at.
Right.
And I like sports was never on the top of my mind really going into school. I was just like, I'm gonna go out, get my degree and whatnot. But I think, I kind of found a blessing in disguise with the club route,
Right.
and I have enjoyed that, so I wouldn't trade it up for anything.
Yeah. So with club, like I saw one of your photos that said you were in Florida. Do you guys kind of travel for club spring training and stuff?
Yeah, I'm sorry if you can't see me
Oh no,
anyways, but
you're good. We got the outline.
yeah, I know. Actually, I think there's like a big misconception around club baseball. You know what I mean? Uh, there's three divisions, and they're all very competitive. We play Division Two,
Okay.
but we are in a conference called the Northern Plains Conference, where with Dayton, University of Illinois, Eastern Illinois, Ohio State was in our conference. They just left this past year.
Yeah.
Um, we had Southeast Missouri. So, I mean, we travel a good amount. Like, we're traveling, like, the most we travel for conference play is 5 hours.
Right.
And so, my freshman year, we had made the playoffs, which was in Missouri that year. So, we went down to Missouri. But, so my freshman and now this year, we go and play spring training uh, in Clearwater, or not
Okay.
Clearwater, Plant City, which is near Tampa. It's
Okay.
like I think it's like an hour outside of Clearwater.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go down there, played 4 games, and we played against the Ohio States of the world and Penn States. See, the difference between us though and like Ohio State and Penn State is a real big one. Like they treat their club teams like their farm systems, like
Right.
literally.
Yeah.
Like so their D1 teams, they're legit. Like they're disgusting. Their D2 teams are good too, and yeah. But if I had to compare it, it's easily like D3 ball at
Okay.
the time. Like the way I would say the competition level. I don't think it's better just because uh, I don't know. I can't. It's not. It's club, like I said. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, but so you saying you're going off to college and you're not sports aren't on your mind. You just want to go. You have a good time and you you just want to make sure you study and get your degree and all that stuff. But where what you did find was club, and you were able to still enjoy baseball. And I think that's a lot where kids don't really understand that. They think if they want to play ball, they're going to a college to play ball, or
No,
and it doesn't matter
absolutely.
where you're hearing it here from JP that you go to Xavier, you play club, but you're playing like studs.
You
It's
play
not
legit
just
ball. No, you play legit ball. Like
right.
I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like that's such a misconception when they hear the word club, and it's but it's we. I mean, we got umps. I
Right.
mean, like people don't think we got umps, but we do.
Yeah.
And like we have standings. We even have national rankings for
Right.
that matter. So it's
Yeah.
like it's very like it's pretty intense.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's awesome to hear because I, I, I started this podcast and it got to the point where there's, like I tell everyone, like there's messages in here. And that's a message right there where even me, I didn't know uh, like club ball even existed. I knew like intramurals and uh, other things that you can do in college to play sports still. But to hear club ball and to hear that you go to spring training still and you have rankings and you have playoffs and all that, that's something that I think a lot of people don't know. And it's cool that you're doing it and you're able to tell me about it because now that just gives me more information for to tell kids going forward if they have any questions about it. And that's cool because
Yeah,
I see.
and another thing that's great about it is it's like I said, like the first stand it's a club. So I mean it's a student run based club. I mean we have a coach, but uh we I mean it is a student run and it gets you to meet people. It get like don't I came to went to school in Ohio and I met a great group of 30 guys that
Yeah.
welcomed me in, and you know my class especially when we went there was like we were a good class. The kids that came in, we really helped out this club a lot, and we became a more serious team. And I think it's only gotten better. And now, me and actually my roommate, we run the club. So
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's going in the right direction. And I hope people when they like don't when they don't want to play ball, but they still do want to have that kind of grit or whatever,
Yeah.
this is always a great way to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And like I said, that's awesome that you're doing that and you still found that because I mean we got the kids that I'm coaching, like they're studs, and then they're like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go to college. I may not even play." It's like you're don't give up. You're too young to give up. And
Yeah,
so even if they find something like a club, and that's something that will keep them going and keep them motivated and just keep them playing the game they love. So that's really cool. Um, two things before we get out of here, JP. Uh, one, who kind of once the passing of Steve, who kind of gave you that big brother feel as you were growing up?
um, that's a good question. Uh, you know, I can't even count on my hand how many people probably could make that list. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So many people I've had. I mean, I have I have some great best friends, but I don't, I mean, they're like brothers to me, but they ain't big brothers. But I mean, a lot of the big brothers, I think would have to come from his grade or
Mm-hmm.
around his age that played with him. So you got like the Brandon Keers of the world, the Con Kemps of the world, Jimmy Peard, um, just the list literally goes on and on about
Yeah.
the people that like literally like to this day will always they talk to me as if I was him or whatnot. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like they welcome me in as one of their own. It's never been a matter of if, but when.
Yeah. Right.
When to hang out or something like that. So
Yeah.
you know, um, yeah, I would just say like a lot of those guys just really kind of just welcomed me.
Right. Good. I love hearing it. I just wanted to kind of ask that just because I know those guys and I know that they are good people. And like I said, Steve had such impact, not even on Conant, just on the whole community. And you just saw that throughout like the rest of my high school career and through yours. And it was special, man. But all right, let's end it with advice to kids coming up through it can be Conant, we'll say Conant. Advice to kids coming up through Conant of what to expect and what the coaches expect of them for we'll say, I know basketball is a big one, so we'll say basketball, and then we'll even go to baseball with Coach Heapy.
Wait, so you're asking me what I would
What
tell these
would
kids
your
coming in?
Yeah, so if little JP comes up and he's about to be a
Right. No,
freshman.
I would have to say, like, don't, like, I was a three-sport athlete. Play as much as possible. I mean, I played so many baseball games in the summer, so many basketball games. It's like, just play as much as possible, because you're going to play to a point where you can't.
Right.
And I just use it up. And I think that once you got to have that competitive edge. And once you find that right, like you're in your comfort zone, stick with it. Just keep going. And I think that's really all you can really do, especially with like basketball. I mean, it's such a intense game and such a, you really just got to have the mental capacity to go the full 40 minutes, 42 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like whenever I played basketball, I played with immense passion. Like I was in it to win it up until I played my last game at Conant in Somersworth. I was gonna leave it all out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just even like the slightest thing, like I like one year had the most charges for Conant, and I was just every time I got a charge, I thought it was the best thing in the world. You know what I mean? It's just just like things like that. Just like be passionate when you play the game. I know when I see people like diminishing that, I feel like that's bad to the game of basketball, bad to the game of baseball. I don't know why people don't get more hyped in baseball, because I feel like baseball is such a momentum sport, and I feel like if you don't have that energy, I mean, you're not existent.
Right. Yeah. And baseball is that sport where it is all about momentum. And if I don't know if you watched any of the playoffs last year, but the Nationals.
Oh yeah, dude.
They're down. They're down 3-1.
You're talking about the best playoffs.
Yeah. They're down just in the wild card. They're down 3-1 the whole entire game. And then ninth inning comes, hit, and then they end up winning and obviously go on to win the World Series. But where people see baseball as boring, I feel like it's just because they don't really understand the game.
That's so true.
It's kind of like a poker game where you're gonna keep folding, but once you get those cards and you get that flop and that river and all that, like you're going all in, and that's when you're winning. And like I said, it to some people it's boring, but to a lot of people it's beautiful, and it's a sport that I feel like doesn't really get as much credit as it deserves, especially lately. But
yeah, I mean, I playing baseball. I mean, I've learned so much, and I'm satisfied, and I've had a bunch of accomplishments. I mean, the Huskies alone, we've made so many accomplishments.
Right.
In such a young period. It's like crazy to think about. And it's just, don't, like I said, like don't waste playing one sport. You know what I mean? You gotta play the field. Play volleyball. And I play softball all the time too. And I've found passion in that. So it's like you will regret it if you don't satisfy those opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree with it. And out here in Arizona, it's a lot of push for those one sport athletes, where it's kind of intimidating because if you don't play that one sport year round, it's kind of like you go unnoticed in a way in some aspect. But I'm on team play as many sports as you can, and that goes from like just to know how to win. If you're strictly baseball, but you're not on a good team your whole career and you're just losing, like if you played basketball and you need to hit 2 free throws to win the game, that's just a little thing. Like,
Yeah, you learn so many different lessons in each sport. Like
right.
it's like you learn different things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And it only helped me become even the person I am. So it's
Right.
sports is a great thing. I mean, nothing
Yeah,
wrong with
for
that.
sure. I agree, man. All right. Well, I'll let you
Hey,
go.
hey, do you want to say hi to Ron real quick before
Yeah.
we get off? Yeah, I'm gonna get him up.
Sweet.
Hey, you want to say hi to Tyler real quick? Come say hi. Just come say hi. We're about to sign off anyways.
What sign?
No, I said sign off. He's right here.
T, what's up, man?
What's up, Ron?
Look, he's wearing the Yankee shirt too.
Yeah, just gotta let you know. Hey,
You probably couldn't hear him.
oh, it's good. How
Yeah,
you been?
good. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'll
All
let.
right, Tyler.
Stay well,
Hey,
man.
yeah. Hey, thanks for letting me say hi to him. Make sure he sees the beginning of this and let him know that.
Oh,
Um,
I will.
always repping Steve. Always talking about him, and like I said, I'm glad to have seen you grow up and become the young man that you are, and you represent well, and you definitely carry on his legacy for sure. So,
Hey, like I
but
said, if you need a wristband, magnet, shoot me a text and we'll send it
yeah.
right out.
All right, man. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you for joining the show, and I look forward to you hopping on the rest of the shows that I do too. So, uh,
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
all right, guys. My name is Tyler Milbert here with JP Record, and this is Inside the Mind of an Athlete. All right, take care, JP.